Thursday night, the bell rang for the start of Mania weekend as Cupcake Lady Productions hosted Cupcake Carnage, wrestling-themed comedy show at the Creek in the Cave, and I have the dirty scoop for you.
I'm VEDA Scott, and it's VEDA time!
The comedy show was set up somewhat like an actual wrestling show. Off to the corner were 3 commentators, including the person who told me about the show, noted internet person Mr. Brandon Stroud of Withleather. In the beginning, several of the actors came out as wrestlers and cut promos and talked trash to each other. There were 2 matches total in the event. One was between a secretary and a Disney-esque princess, and the other was between the Madman, who was basically a Don Draper type, and a sexy nurse. The 4 wrestlers on the show are the 4 main people involved in Cupcake Lady's productions. They were all wonderful performers and breathed a lot of life into these ridiculous characters. The matches were short, which worked well. They got in there, made their jokes, and got out. The moves were really funny, including things like the princess singing to cause a barrage of birds to attack her opponents. The birds were 50 peeps, by the way. And a sleeper hold causing the princess to fall asleep and need a run-in by a prince to wake her up, who, Russo Swerve, made a heel turn and ended up helping the secretary. The rest of the show was filled with special guests and an interesting variety of comedy pieces. There was an attempt to read some of the best fanfic on the internet, but they all ended up turning out to be erotic, including one about a certain all-American American named Jack Swagger of Marth. Dan Barry had a hilarious running gag where he played Sabu and was constantly falling and hurting himself as he was trying to attack the announcer. There were also one-off sketches featuring an Irishman that likes to fight a lot, John Cena and a Make-A-Wish kid, which was surprisingly good. I was really expecting it to go in a way that I've seen it done before, but this one was fresh and very good, and the kid was impressive. And there was a third one where I actually got really mad at because it was so good that I wished it was an actual wrestling gimmick. It was a guy called The Meme who talks solely in internet references, and I really want to see a wrestler trash talk his opponent by recreating the Willy Wonka meme. Because this was a wrestling show, there was a video package. This one was about what 90s wrestling would have sounded like if comedians of that era were announcers, and they were all really solid, very funny impersonations. One of my favorites was Jeff Foxworthy doing a running gag about "you might be a jobber if." My favorite character on the show was Whole Lotta Denim, a former wrestler and current commentator. Whole Lotta Denim is a guy wearing a denim baseball cap, a denim mask, 2 denim jackets, a pair of jeans with holes in them where you can see a pair of other jeans underneath them, and a pair of denim sneakers. He was hilarious on commentary, and partway through the show, he sang a bunch of acoustic covers of bad wrestling songs. And at that moment, we all realized we would pay good money to see a musical review of those songs. I had no idea what to expect going into the show, but I would never have guessed that I would end up seeing a guy wearing way too much denim singing about how he's an ass man with Brandon Stroud sitting in the corner supplying visual aid to everything that an ass man does. Cupcake Lady Productions did a wonderful job with this, and if you're in the New York area, I would recommend checking out their other shows. They also filmed this and took photos of it, so I would recommend checking them out on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube to see if they have any footage or photos of this up soon. The Creek in the Cave was a great venue. While waiting for the show to start, I ended up seeing part of the previous show, Modern Philosophers, which is a stand-up comedy show. They were really funny, and at the end, Colin Quinn showed up for some reason and started doing stand-up, which... More importantly, though, one of their regulars is a cat that just wanders around the theater and bar and sits in guitar cases, and he is awesome, and you should go just to meet him, because he's way cooler than Colin Quinn.